Happy New Year, Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to episode 8 of The Folk with your host, Grant. I'm Jose, and let's get started, everyone.
Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is college football anyway, about the national title game, which is going to be at Clemson, Alabama. From what I've been seeing anyway, at least what I'm thinking, I think it could go either way. I think Alabama probably could beat out Clemson. I was a little surprised that Clemson beat Ohio State. I was really surprised by that, but Alabama, they just look very, very powerful this year. They've been very powerful all year round. And I think it could be a very good game. Clemson is definitely the underdog right now. Alabama should be the top favorite. I just sort of like this game, Clemson and Alabama. I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup.
You think it's going to be a high-scoring game, low-scoring game?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Clemson beat Alabama, beat Washington 24-7 for the college football semifinals, which is the Peach Bowl and Fiesta Bowl this year. And how it's figured out is depending on like what bowl is format, and the 6 bowls that are part of the playoff format is the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Peach Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl. And this year was the Fiesta Bowl and Peach Bowl, if I remember right. But I think it's going to be a very, very low, maybe not a very low-scoring game, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Because those two were the top teams that scored big time, at least in the semifinal games. That's why I think this is going to be quite a bit closer, but I could be wrong.
I'd say it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'd say maybe 21-17.
It's going to be very close. I can see that. 21-17, I can see that.
Now, as far as who I can win, as much as I want to see it happen, I want to see someone knock Alabama off. Knock them off their mighty throne. I just don't think it's going to be Clemson.
I don't think so either. Because Alabama.
I mean, Nick Saban is too good recruiting, good players.
Yes, he is. Right now, who I think is the best coach right now for NCAA football, I think it's him. But that's just my.
Next up, next up, we got the NFL playoffs going on, and we just got a score in. Houston beat Oakland. Beat up Oakland, actually. What was the score of that game? Oh, it's 27-14 Houston.
Yep. And Detroit Lions right now are taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Right now, the Seattle Seahawks are in the lead so far, 10-3. And then the next 2 playoff games is Miami at Pittsburgh, tomorrow 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, and the New York Giants at Green Bay at 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. From what I'm seeing so far, I think Super Bowl, who I think it's going to be is Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots, but
I know it probably won't happen. What about an all-Texas Super Bowl? You got, assuming that Houston's defense is as good as people say it is.
If their defense is as good, they're going to have a hard time against the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots have found ways to win. Very well doing that for quite a while. I mean, it's possible Houston could take on New England. If they do, I think it's going to be pretty tough for them.
Okay, so who are you taking for these division or for these wild card games?
Wild card games, well, obviously we know Houston beat Oakland. Seattle and Detroit. Seattle usually at home has done very well in the past. So if I would have to choose Seattle or Detroit, I'm going to have to go with Seattle on this one. At home, they're 7-1. And the Lions on the road are 3-5. So I got to go with Seattle on that one. Pittsburgh and Miami. Pittsburgh right now, with them in the regular season, they're 6-2 at home. Miami 8-0. Not 8-0, sorry, 4-4 on the road. I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh beating Miami. I think this is going to be the toughest game to predict is the New York Giants versus the Green Bay Packers. I think that's going to be a fairly close game. Because the Green Bay Packers at home are 6-2, and New York Giants on the road are 4-4. In the conference, Giants are 8-4. Packers in the conference are 8-4. But if you look at the point differential, Packers are at plus 44, Giants are at plus 26, and the Packers were at a winning streak of 6 games. Giants only from at least till the end of the regular season, they had a streak of just winning 1 game. So if they win this game, it'd be 2. They are 11-5. Packers are 10-6. It's going to be close, but I think the Packers have the edge.
Yeah. Now, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go week by week or just predict the entire playoffs now? I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
I mean, it's fine. I guess we could go throughout the whole season of how it could possibly go.
So week by week?
Yeah, week by week.
Okay, that works. And then we just make our Super Bowl predictions the week before this. Because I know that they take a week off before the Super Bowl, so they play that crappy Super Bowl. That doesn't matter anymore. I mean, whatever happened in that game? Why did that game just lose all its luster?
The Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
The reason why I lost a lot of its lusters, people, I don't know, but this is my take from what I've seen. I'm sort of glad they are bringing back the old style type game. The reason why I lost the style for a long time is that it's basically an all-star game. Major League Baseball has its all-star game. It's just for a fun game. It's not really anything.
Like bragging.
I mean, it's sort of could be for bragging rights, I sort of say, but you shouldn't really have a prize within that game. The prize should be like within the Super Bowl.
I mean, I think there is an incentive to actually make the Pro Bowl. I mean, it goes on your career resume, even if it's a big pile of donkey crap.
And that's what I think the prize should be, is for bragging rights for the single individual players themselves that were the best of that year. Because it's like with Major League Baseball. Do I think that they should have had that little stipulation that whoever wins the All-Star game gets to be in, gets to have home field advantage for the World Series?
Well, actually, speaking of the All-Star game, I don't mean to cut you off, but speaking of that, they actually, like in the new arbitration deal, they actually got rid of that rule. So now it's just regular All-Star game.
And that's why I'm sort of glad about that. That's going to be a bit back to a regular All-Star game.
It should be the team with the best record that's in the playoffs gets home field.
Yeah, and that's who should have home field advantage. That's the way it was a long time ago, and that's the way I like it. Whoever has the best team all around, or basically whoever has the best record of that year for Major League Baseball, they should get home field advantage, because that's what statistics show. If you've got the best record and you've been beating every team, annihilating every team, playing baseball, yeah, you should have home field advantage. At least I agree with that.
I mean, speaking of the All-Star game, even though because this is going to be like the 15th year of that infamous All-Star game, I mean, we can go deeper into discussion on another episode, but just real quick, I mean, if they were allowed to play on, who do you think would have won?
Which year?
2002.
Oh, you mean when they were in Milwaukee?
Yeah. Thank you, Bud Selig.
I really don't know, because they used up all the players, but knowing from history of All-Star games, I'm pretty sure AL has usually done better in All-Star games than the NL. So I think the AL probably more than likely probably would have won.
So you say it was a
The thing is,
to call the game. What it did. Fair enough.
which I sort of see why they sort of changed rules for a little while about it being boring. But the thing is, it's an all-star game. It's for a fun game. They shouldn't have to go all out and absolutely destroy themselves in an all-star game. That's why it's called All-Star Break. They're just there to have fun. I mean, yeah, you want to have some bragging rights, but the reason they also did that is because they want baseball wants viewers to watch it. I mean, I've always watched it all the time. I like watching it, but I like it for being more for fun anyway. If they try to make it more for fun anyway, I think that's why a lot of people would be more interested in watching it again instead of trying to make it total all out. Where you're going, oh, if you win this, you get home field advantage for All-Star game. When I agree with the old school format with most people that the way home field advantage should be for playoffs is whoever has the best record. Yeah, they should have home field advantage all the way through the playoffs.
Is there any confirmation where the All-Star game is coming? Is it going to be this coming?
Next event will be this coming July on the 11th, and it'll be in Marlins Park, Miami, Florida.
Okay. That should be an interesting park. I mean,
and that's why I'm also looking to see the history of the All-Star game, who has won more of the games anyway, compared to which league.
Yeah, because I don't see it going back to Miller for a while, if ever, after that fiasco. But next up, we got some NCAA talk. Villanova got upset by Butler.
Butler has been doing fairly well. I would say, Butler isn't the biggest school in NCAA. They're more in the Big East, which is a smaller conference. And the Big East formerly used to be a big conference. Butler's not too bad of a school, and which both of them are in the same conference, obviously. Anyway, that was one of my dads. They're almost one of my dads. They're in the same conference, but Butler has been in the NCAA tournament anyway for a while, so I'm actually pretty impressed with Butler. Will always happen like that? Probably not, but I'm glad for them that they beat Villanova, even though do I think Villanova's as bad as them? No. I think both schools are actually pretty darn good schools anyway. They've been fairly good schools as of late. And that's the thing. I think those are the two teams to watch out for in the Big East.
I think
it's going to be those two teams.
I mean, I think a school to watch out for coming from the Big Ten would be Northwestern.
We're talking about Big East. If you're talking about Villanova,
no, I know. I was talking like overall, like in the Big Ten.
Northwestern. I wouldn't say that. Minnesota's done fairly well. I know. Maybe Northwestern. I'm looking at the standings right now. Maybe Northwestern has won a few more games. Actually, right now they're 1-2 in the conference. They're 12-4 overall. It's possible they might make it, maybe. But I would say the teams to watch out for more is Purdue, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and I would say Wisconsin's probably the top team to watch out for right now. Wisconsin's done very well. They were in the NCAA Final Four. If I'm not mistaken, they were also in the national title game last year. And they faced against I forgot who they faced off against, but I know they were in the NCAA title game last year.
It's surprising that 3 of Nebraska's 9 wins have come in conference play, and Nebraska's 3-0 in conference play so far.
They're doing very well this year, and that's why I wouldn't count out a lot of these teams. Northwestern may have a fairly good record. The thing is, they've got a low. That's going to hurt them later on their RPI for them making it to the tournament. Because even though winning those games earlier on may help, you've got to do a lot better within your conference. That's why this is the time now that if you win most of your games within your conference, you're going to be more likely to have a better chance and opportunity to make the NCAA tournament than if you lose most of your games within your conference. conference.
Well, winning the conference tournament also does help too. I mean, that gives you an automatic way in.
Somewhat.
No, yeah, according to my brother, this is what we were talking about with this one. Like on the way to Indiana, like every conference has at least had to have one team in it.
Yes, they do.
That's their conference. But that's their conference winner, I think, if I'm correct.
Okay, and I just wanted to say, excuse me, it was not Wisconsin that was in Final Four. It was Villanova, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Syracuse of this past year. But Wisconsin has done very well. They have made the NCAA tournament for quite a while. But the Big Ten, those are some teams that you're going to have to watch out for. And that's why I'm trying to look through the Big Ten teams that were in the tournament last year.
I mean, let's see, like Minnesota sitting at 14-2, Maryland at 14-2, with a 2-1 conference record. Kind of switching gears for a minute to ARA Conference, or Oro Ohio Valley Conference. Let's see. Eastern sitting in 4th with a 9-7 overall record and a 1-2 conference record. And it's, there's a lot of time left, but Murray State with an 8-8 record, but they're 2-0 in the conference.
The thing is with the Ohio Valley Conference, there's not enough money in that. That's why basically with those conferences, like what they call the mid-majors, team will make, and that's why they have to win the conference tournament. That's why conference play is very important in all the conferences. But like if you're in the ACC, Big Ten, well, since they usually tend to have the better schedules, that's why most of those teams will make it into the tournament as an at-large school, and that's why even when your conference tournament doesn't always mean for them that they're going to have the top seed. Because like last year,
I'm not saying the top seed, I'm saying like an actual entry into the tournament.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Virginia, they won their. I can't remember if Virginia won the ACC tournament, but Virginia was an at-large school, and they had a 26-7 record. But since they're in the ACC, that's the reason why they're able to get in. That's why if you're with the ACC, the Big Ten, Pac-12, and SEC, usually those 4 conferences, most of those schools will get into the tournament first before anyone else.
So you think these selection committees are kind of favor the bigger conferences?
In my opinion, I'm like them. I favor the bigger conferences also. Historically, they've had most of the title wins. Like UCLA is one of them, Kentucky, Indiana, Duke. They're from the 4 big conferences that are most. What used to be known as the Power 6 are now probably known as the Power 4. Those 4 conferences basically have the top teams of all, most of the top teams. There's some top teams like UConn that is getting up there now, but they're in the American Conference. They used to be of the former Big East. And yeah, I just want to yes, Wisconsin did make the tournament last year, but no, they were not in the Final Four. That was my mistake on that one. But that's why I would say the schools that tend to be in the bigger conferences, the Big Ten, SEC, Pac-12, and ACC, they're going to tend to have more of the better teams in the tournament, and I think that's the way it should be. Because I understand that these other schools may get maybe the bench players from these bigger schools, and they can be the starters at a smaller school. That is true. Most of best schools tend to get the top talent all around the country. And I know UCLA is getting up there. UCLA is getting some top talent. From at least I've been hearing anyway, UCLA looks like that they're coming back from sort of, and they say it's possible they could be coming back to the heyday of how it was when John Wooden coached. I don't know if that will happen, but I'm pretty sure the rankings they're in the top 25. Yeah, UCLA right now is sitting at number 4 in the AP top 25. Well, they're at number 5, and they've got a 14-1 record. And I think a lot of people are, especially people at UCLA, I think are pretty glad and UCLA is back in the top 25 because the greatest coach I think ever coached in college basketball history is John Wooden. I think he is the greatest coach of all time. Yeah, I know it's in a different time era, but there's no other coach right now in at least in men's basketball history to win 7 consecutive titles, NCAA titles together combined. The only coach that has done better than him in college basketball is the USA Olympic head women's basketball coach, and he's the coach of the UConn Huskies. And he's won more titles now than Wooden overall as an NCAA basketball coach. He's the only coach to do better than John Wooden. But if you're talking about wins alone, John Wooden is the best by far. And that's why I think the power conferences tend to do better. And why the power conferences should have more teams in it compared to the smaller conferences. Now, the smaller conferences tend to get better players, then maybe it's possible they should have more in. But like I've said before, the power conferences, the Pac-12, Big Ten, SEC, and ACC, I think those are where the 4 conferences that will have usually the best teams, usually, of every year. But time can tell. And it's possible. There could be a 16th seed that could be a number 1 seed. But statistically, that has never happened yet.
Actually, it has, but it's not in the men. That happened over on the women's side.
Yeah, but I'm talking about men's.
No, I know.
Men's side,
I know.
Never happened.
Well, we've seen 2s beat 15s, 3s beat 14, or 14 beat 3s.
Now, I don't know about the women's, but I've never. Has there been any 16 seeds that have beaten a number 1 seed in the NCAA women's basketball tournament?
In the women's?
Yeah, in women's.
Oh, yeah. I think, if I remember, I think I pulled this up because talking with my brother like on the way to Indiana, and I believe Harvard ended up beating Stanford. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 1998, 16 seed Harvard beat number 1 seed Stanford.
Nice. Which I mean, it would be cool to watch, but I think, and I mean, it might happen in men's at some point. It might happen. I think on the men's side, it's going to take a lot longer for that to happen down the women's. And maybe that Stanford team was just having an off day.
Now, I think what has to happen is to have a 16 seed team be like really good, but not get like a whole lot of respect from like the coaches, polls, the rankings, and a selection committee.
And that's why the men's is a lot tougher to get a number 1 seed, especially if you're in what they call a mid-major conference. Now, if you're in a power conference, yeah.
You're at least guaranteed a 1 through 5?
Usually a 1 through 5, not all the time. It depends on, basically, I'd say the biggest thing that usually depends on is your record within your conference is what usually determines what seed you're going to get. Obviously, your overall record counts also. It also counts in how you poll within the coaches poll and AP with the writers. But I would say the biggest thing, probably the biggest indication, is the RPI poll, depending on your strength of schedule. I'd say your strength of schedule is going to be the most important thing. if you have the toughest strength of schedule and you've got, or you're within at least the middle and you've got a winning record, you're going to have a fairly high seed, even if you're in a very small conference. Like if you're in a small conference and you're beating top tier teams, you're going to have a fairly good seed, even if you are in a lower conference and your team is at least what they consider by strength of schedule weaker than like Duke or but if you can beat those teams, it's possible you could get a fairly high seed. Will it be a number 1 seed? I highly doubt it. But I could see them getting at least a 4 through 8 seed. Anyway.
Now, hypothetically, for a minute, let's say Eastern got really good. Somewhere down the road, they end up going, I don't know, let's get 33 games. Let's say they end up going like 28-5 in a 33-game season. They dominate the OVC, but don't win the conference tournament. I mean, we're like as a part of the selection committee, where would you place them?
I'd probably place them in NIT.
Really?
Good.
Well, because like 16 or 15.
NIT, I think it's 1 through 8 seeds anyway. I would not place them in the NCAA tournament. Like I said, it also depends on the conference you're in. Since there's a lot more they consider major conferences, like the OVC, and though I like the OVC, but another thing that tends to help a lot of schools is that their history throughout the NCAA tournament, how well they've done throughout in the past. Like UCLA, they've done historically well. At least when John Wooden was there, they were dominant. They were extremely dominant, and there was not even a person, not even. I mean, there were some teams that were able to beat them, but not many. But that's what I'm saying. When it comes to the power conferences, you don't always have to win out your conference to get in. That's why it's harder for the mid-majors to get in there. Even though,
I mean, if you're in a power conference, you're almost guaranteed a spot, even if you don't win your conference tournament.
Usually, but that doesn't always happen, especially if you're on the lower tier, like the Big Ten. If you're on the lower tier, you probably will not make it into the NCAA.
Like Ohio State, for example, down at the lower part of the Big Ten standings this year so far.
Yeah, they probably will not be in the NCAA tournament because
they haven't really had anything good since Greg Oden, and Greg Oden, we all know what happened to him.
But it also depends on how they play in the conference. And though their overall standings do count also, but it also depends on how they do within their conference. And if they are still doing fairly bad in their conference for their conference standings, it's not going to bode well. So yeah, like Ohio State was 0-2 in the conference right now. That's not looking good for them. I'd say probably the top team right now that probably has the best chance of possibly having a top seed, maybe a 2 seed, maybe even a 1 seed, is Wisconsin right now. They're 2-0 in the conference and they're 13-2 overall. I'd say right now that's the team to beat right now in the Big Ten. And though Nebraska's 3-0, they're 9-6 overall. And that's why there's a lot of different variables, and that's why it's going to be very interesting to see how all of them are going to look when it comes to near the end of the season for the NCAA basketball season.
We've got a couple of months left to play, so I mean, really, the conference tournaments don't start till like mid-March.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Okay. Do you follow hockey by chance?
Yeah, I do follow hockey once in a while.
You follow that 15-game winning streak that the Blue Jackets put up?
I've heard about it. I must really stink that their streak got snapped. I mean,
well, they had a 15-game streak going on, and they ended up losing the last. No, it's Thursday night. No, it's Thursday night. They lost to Washington 5-0. But I'm gonna go through and see who they've actually beaten before they lost, because I want to see what kind of opponents.
Well, I also know when it comes to NHL, the way their playoffs happen is that you have to have the most points, and whoever has the most points within each conference, the top 8 teams of each conference make the playoffs. Right now, Columbus isn't doing too bad right now. By points, they're actually still number one anyway in the Eastern Conference. So they're not doing too bad anyway. You know, it stinks that they've now lost 2 games in a row. In the last 10, they're 8-2.
But you got to admit, dude, no one since they came into the league took them seriously.
Columbus has always been a team that I wouldn't say has always done well, but they've been a team they've always been a team for me that I would say not to give up on. They've always been a team that always seems to find a way of getting the win. I'm not saying they always do it all the time, but the past, I know when they first started, they were a little on the weaker end because obviously they were an expansion team. But as each year has gone by, they've gotten better as of late. And right now they're at 58 points. So right now they would have the first seed in the Eastern Conference anyway.
Now, as far as the Golden Knights go, I mean, for one, I kind of think that's kind of a stupid name, but like, how do you think they'll do their first season? Assuming I believe it's going to be, is it going to be next season or the season after that they make their debut in the NHL?
You're talking about the Las Vegas Golden Knights, I assume?
Yeah.
I would say that's why I'm going to look that up right now. I'm not for sure. It depends on if they've got the stadium built. I mean, it could be next year, but I would say that it was founded, or to be founded this year of October 2017. So I'd say probably by sometime they'll begin to play in the 2018 NHL season, which would be starting this later winter. So yeah, they will start up this coming season.
Yeah.
I would say right now that they will probably be on the weaker end for now, since it is an expansion team. Most expansion teams, that tends to happen with them. But I mean, it's possible that they could rise up in the rankings later on, or standings anyway in the NHL. It's possible. I just know, at least their history in a lot of sports, expansion teams tend to not do quite so hot. It's possible later on it could happen.
Now, for those of us new, those of you guys new to this podcast, I mean, can you maybe explain how expansion drafts work like in the NHL, if you know off the top of your head?
Say that again?
Could you maybe explain how expansion drafts work in the NHL for people listening who don't have an idea?
Basically, expansion drafts are sort of, I would say, similar in most sports. Basically, with expansion draft, you take, at least what happens with most teams is that they get rid of what they consider as their weakest players on their teams, and then they put them into a draft. At least this is what it says. The initial proposal rules for the draft were decided upon the NHL in March 2016 is for the Las Vegas Knights. They allow each team to either protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, or 1 goaltender to 8 skaters, regardless of position, because the NHL wants to ensure the competitive of any of their teams. The number of protected players allowed are lower than the 2000 NHL expansion draft, which populated the Minnesota Wild and Columbus Blue Jackets. Each team could protect 9 forwards, 5 defensemen, 1 goalie, 2 goalies, 3 defensemen, 7 forwards. Basically, what happens, teams will submit to the players, which are the players that they will not get rid of, and then the ones that they consider on the weaker end, or they don't think that they're as good, they will let them be entered into a draft, and then those players that are on the basically the weaker end, that team will select who they think are the best of that list, and then whoever's the best of that list will be on that team, and then the other players will stay with the other teams anyway that were not drafted. And that's how usually.
Okay. Now, if I'm correct, they're not eligible for this year's upcoming draft, correct?
NHL entry draft, I'm pretty sure they're not yet.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, it says the expansion team is guaranteed the same odds to the draft lottery's third lowest entry team for the 2016 to 2017 NHL season for the 2017 NHL entry draft. After the first season, the team will be subject to the same draft lottery rules as the other teams in the league, the NHL's deputy commissioner. But they always said that teams that do not allow expansion draft rules face penalties, including possible loss of draft picks and/or players.
Now, you see maybe the NHL trying to expand like into other cities. I mean, I know they've tried Atlanta and that failed. I mean, I've seen them go back to like Quebec or Hartford.
It's possible they could go to other cities. It's possible. I would say they probably won't ever go back to Atlanta.
I mean, including the Knights, how many teams do we have now?
Well, right now, technically, there's 30 teams. So with the Knights, there will be 31 teams.
Okay. So we need what, at least?
Now in the NHL. And it says for NHL.com, the rules for the 2017 expansion draft, Las Vegas will select 30 players. So basically, they'll pick 30 players, and I would assume it'll be one player from each team of the NHL.
I just wonder how the playoffs are working now with 31 teams. I mean,
it'll be the same way. It'll be the same way. Basically, the points standings. Whoever has the most points, the top 4 teams from each conference, or 4 from each division, which make up the conference. Those top 4 teams of each, not even 4 teams, the top 8 teams of each conference will make it in. So, but there has to be at least one team from both divisions to make it in. So it could be possible that one division could have at least 7 teams make the playoffs, and then the other division could only have 1. And that's why it depends on the point standings.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I mean,
So here's how the 2017 NHL Draft Lottery. The Las Vegas franchise will be given the same odds in the 2017 NHL Draft Lottery as the team finishing with the third fewest points, which I said. Las Vegas franchise's first round selection 2017 NHL Draft will be determined in accordance with the 2017 NHL Draft Lottery, and as a result, the Las Vegas franchise will be guaranteed no lower than the 6th overall selection. The Las Vegas franchise then will select third in each subsequent round of the 2017 NHL Draft, subject to trades and other potential player transactions.
So they're gonna have like an AHL team as well, or no?
I would say more likely if they're an expansion team, I would say more likely they're going to have some. Maybe not this year. I don't know yet if they will have an AHL team. But I would say
that'd be too much for to have an expansion team at an AHL affiliate, because you have to find a city, maybe somewhere close to Vegas, to have an AHL affiliate.
I would say at some point that they will have an AHL affiliate, more focused on the NHL team itself and see how well it does within its first year.
I mean, I know most people out there are probably going to say that Vegas, after having a sports team in Vegas, it's just fail. I want them to succeed, because I want to have something known for outside of gambling.
Me too, and I hope it does work out for them. I do wish them all the best. Is it going to be tough road for them? Absolutely, because they are the new team, and they're going to have to prove themselves. But look at the Columbus Blue Jackets. They were once the new team themselves also a while back, and look where they're at now. They right now have the most points in the Eastern Conference right now. So they've got the number. I mean, if the season would stop right now, they've got the number 1 seed. It might not happen that way later on, but right now they've got the most points right now. So it's possible Las Vegas, they could come up in the rankings later on. It's possible.
I mean, every team at some point outside of the original 6 was an expansion team.
Yep. It's like that with almost any league. There's always original teams, and then the smaller teams tend to rise up. But sometimes even the teams that have done really well for a while,
maybe sports favors the bigger markets more than the smaller ones, or
I think depends on each year. I think depends on where the players are at. Depends on how they play. That's why I don't think it really depends on the markets. Depends on how the players play with each team. Depends on the teams themselves. Because like in any sport, that's why I think when it comes to the NHL anyway, the old school format, not even used to be the Eastern or Western Conference, was the Campbell and Wales Conference. The Campbell Conference, if I remember right, had the older teams, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking it up right now, the Campbell Conference and the Wales Conference.
Maybe you're talking AHL. I don't remember.
Okay, the Campbell Conference was the teams that I guess were the newer teams, which is now the Western Conference.
Oh,
But they used to be known as the Campbell Conference, and they had the newer teams.
yeah.
And the Wales Conference was of the teams that were of old, that were in the NHL for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Toronto Maple Leafs,
The Blues, I believe, are 100 years old.
the Detroit Red Wings,
Chicago.
at the time, yes, Chicago Blackhawks. But even though Chicago now is in the Western Conference, they used to be of the former. Because the divisions were really weird. When it came to the Campbell Conference, it was the Adams Division and the Norris Division. Way
They
back
didn't have as
when.
many teams as you do now. I mean, so.
Yeah, and that's why it was changed. And that's why the Wales Conference had a lot of the older teams. Like, because the most division titles for the Norris Division was the Montreal Canadiens, which is one of the big teams for the NHL, and then the other division, the Adams Division.
Yeah, let's see.
Was the Boston Bruins.
The Pacific Division, and actually, it's surprising that Edmonton's doing pretty good. They're only a point behind Anaheim.
And if I remember right, the Edmonton Oilers have been
they've been in the laughing stock.
Well-established team in the NHL.
They've been the laughing stock of the league probably since Gretzky left.
Yeah, that is true. Ever since Gretzky left, they've
used the draft to build up, and I gotta give them kudos for it.
I agree.
I mean,
right now,
future stud Connor McDavid. I mean, granted, I think they could have done better had they kept Taylor Hall, but
well, so far right now, if the season end right now, here's how the seeds would go. The number one seed, at least for the Western Conference, would be the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Some people call them the Anaheim Ducks. Actually, no, not Anaheim. Chicago. Sorry, it'd be the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, I was going to say that Chicago Blackhawks are number one with 55 points. The Minnesota Wild at 53.
Okay, that's surprising. Minnesota having 50. Well, Minnesota's not a bad team either this year.
Well, they're one of the expansion teams also. They were one of the expansion teams of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh, that's right.
So, and they're coming up in the rankings also. Number 3 would be the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, pardon me. Anaheim Mighty Ducks would be the number 3 seed with 50 points. The Edmonton Oilers would be number 4 with 49. San Jose Sharks with 48. The St. Louis Blues at the number 6 seed with 45. And then the Los Angeles Kings and the Calgary Flames at 44 points for the Western Conference.
Now, if the season ended right there, I mean, who would you give the 8th seed to? I mean, or would they just play it out?
There's only 2 teams tied with 44, so they would automatically get someone would get the 7th seed and someone would get the 8th seed.
Oh, okay.
But I would say it'd probably be based upon point differential, and right now point differential, Los Angeles has a better point differential than Calgary, so the Los Angeles Kings, I'd say more likely would get the 7th seed, and Calgary would get the 8th seed.
Goal differential, that's right. I'm looking at ESPN right now.
And then if it would end for the same thing with the Eastern Conference, if the season would end right now, odds of the Columbus Blue Jackets would be the #1 seed. The New York Rangers, then the Montreal Canadiens, then the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals, even though they're both tied at 55. But I would say Washington Capitals probably the #4 seed since they're at +28, and Pittsburgh's at +26 for point differential. #6 would be the Philadelphia Flyers. #7 would be the Ottawa Senators. Well, actually, #7 would be Toronto Maple Leafs because they're at +4 for point differential. Then the 8th seed would be the Ottawa Senators because they're at -5 for point differential. Since both of those teams have 44 points right now together.
I think one more thing on the NHL. What teams would you put as teams that really should think about relocating?
In the AHL?
Boy, in the NHL, yeah.
I think it would depend on the team, but Buffalo Sabres is one of them that I think could potentially may have to relocate. I think that's one of the teams. Even though Detroit's not doing quite as hot as they've done in the past. I cannot count out Detroit about them relocating, but I know Buffalo, they've been struggling for a long while. In Buffalo anyway. So I mean it's and I haven't really heard any stories yet about any AHL rumors about any AHL teams relocating. I mean, it's possible that there could be teams relocating.
It's just my honest opinion, but I like to see Arizona relocate because I don't
Depends on the
know.
ownership.
No, I know that too, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to have a hockey team like in the desert.
It may not make sense, but if they're willing to make more money, I can sort of see why they're doing it. And if they're making enough, or at least if that team feels like they're making enough money there, I'd say keep them there. But if they feel like they're not making enough money, maybe they should move. But if Arizona, Arizona is not doing quite so hot this year.
A bunch of aging players too.
Maybe they should move.
At the helm. I mean.
But it depends on the year. Arizona may not do well this year. They may do well next year.
But they need a lot of help, though.
I want to see how well Arizona did last year. Because I would say if they did better last year, then I would say to Arizona was eliminated from playoffs last year, but they did have a better record. So I would say not to move Arizona out right now. I know they may not be doing as well this year. 3 points at the end of the season anyway. So
yeah,
I would say.
I think the problem is that they have a bunch of aging players that I don't know. Yeah, you're right. They did finish with about 78 last year, which is actually pretty respectable.
That's why I would say not. And look at Columbus. Columbus, if I'm not mistaken, Columbus wasn't the lowest, but they had one of the lowest points last year, and they're right now at top of the Metropolitan Division. So look at Columbus. Columbus was dead last in the Metropolitan Division last year, and right now they're in first. So Minnesota's on the lower end of the Central Division of the Western Conference, and they're doing fairly well also this year. So I'd say it just depends on the year, and depends on if they're making enough money in that city or place. If they're making enough money, then I say they should stay. If they're not making enough money and they feel like it's time for them to move, it's time for them to move.
Now,
Because
if they do move, where would you put them? If you were the owner, like, of the team.
I think they may have to stay right now. I'd say right now, moving a team right now, I think would be tougher than usual. Because I'm just looking at other cities. Because I know they tried in Atlanta. I mean, they could try Atlanta again, but I don't think a lot of NHL fans would be big fans of that anyway. I mean, if I was, I'm not the biggest NHL fan. Are you a big NHL fan? I would say, do you think Arizona? You think Atlanta would work well if Arizona would move there? I don't think so either.
The best thing you got like out of Atlanta was Ilya Kovalchuk, and that was it. You're gonna think of a city. I don't know. Maybe go back to Quebec. Go back to Hartford.
I'd say either Canadian. I'd say a city that is more known for the cold. So like Quebec or Hartford. I could see that. I'd say Quebec probably be the better city to probably have that team in there if they would move.
Because if they go to Quebec, I don't think you'd have to realign the conferences again.
No.
Because I think Quebec's still on the western part.
Yeah, I would say the best thing is to probably move them to Quebec probably if they would decide to move. Because Hartford, and since they were going to be bringing Las Vegas in, it would make sense for them to stay in the Pacific Division anyway. Because Las Vegas would be, I'm pretty sure Las Vegas would be in the same division as the Kings, the Sharks, the Coyotes. Right now, them being the Arizona Coyotes.
The Ducks.
We're talking about next year. The Canucks, the Edmonton Oilers, the Calgary Flames. I think that would be the best division for them to stay in. But I would say, yeah, if they would move, I would say Quebec probably would be the best city for them to move to.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, Canada's more known for hockey than the United States anyways.
Yeah.
The United States has been doing better as of late with hockey. But that's why you see quite a lot of Canadian teams in the NHL. Yeah, I'd say if Arizona would move, I'd say probably the best place for them to move to would be Quebec.
So on to our main topic of the night, the Royal Rumble. And this pay-per-view has had a lot of great memories. So to kind of start off this topic, when we go back, what was your favorite Rumble match? Not like an overall pay-per-view. What was your favorite Rumble match?
And you're talking about the overall, like the actual Rumble match itself.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a toughie to pick. What would be my favorite Royal Rumble? I'd have to say probably
2001. That's fine because of Drew Carey.
Nah, I mean it's funny, but if you're really talking about like pure wrestling standpoint, like what was the best Royal Rumble of all, I would say it would have to be probably when it came down to Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. When it came down to those two.
2007. Okay, so.
Yeah, I would say that was probably one of the best Royal Rumbles. At least talk about storyline. But if you want to talk about individual performances, I could also say that one of the Royal Rumbles where Kane eliminated how many people? And I can't remember what.
Like 11 or 12. No, it was 11, and then Roman Reigns broke that record with like 12.
Because there's quite a few Royal Rumbles that I like. If you talk about just individual performance in the Royal Rumble, I'd say the year that he eliminated, I think if you are right, I think it is 11 people. I could be wrong, but I'd say that was one of the best ones. But if you want to talk about an actual overall storyline,
I should have gotten that Royal Rumble. I should have gotten that Royal Rumble DVD actually because it was only like $5. So I'm like, I looked at the reviews and people reviewing it on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, this isn't that good.
But if you want to talk, what do you think was the best overall Royal Rumble? I'm saying with top superstars. of that year. What Royal Rumble do you think was the best overall? I'm having from one there. What Royal Rumble do you think was the best overall? Because I was just trying. Because I know there was a lot of good individual performances, but if I would have to say what I thought the best one was, when you talk about everyone, I would say it had to be somewhere in the 1990s. When you had Triple H, when you had The Rock, when you had Kurt Angle. I would say probably around 1998 to 2001, probably were the best Royal Rumbles.
I'm going to say my favorite is the 99 Rumble. Only because around that time, I was a pure wrestling fan. I like the whole McMahon Austin storyline, especially when getting beat up, and especially when they got trapped and beaten and jumped in the ladies' bathroom, and then he came back and beat McMahon's ass. Only be eliminated because of The Rock.
I think those were, at least in my viewpoint, those were the better Royal Rumbles. Is when you had The Rock, when you had Kurt Angle, when you had Triple H, The Undertaker, Kane, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
And even before that Royal Rumble match, man, we got a great I Quit match between The Rock and Mankind.
I think even Mankind was in that, or at least in one of those Royal Rumbles within those years. I think in '99, Mankind was in that one.
No, he wasn't.
Or at least he was in
match, remember?
Oh yeah, he was.
Which
at least he was on pay-per-view still anyway.
Which, by the way, for people watching, he never said I quit.
True. He never did say I quit. I would say.
Which 13 years
later.
Say
probably that year.
Which 13 years later, The Miz tried that same thing and utterly failed. But no, what were you saying?
Well, I'm looking at each of the years of who won it. Probably, I'd say probably. I think the 1996 Royal Rumble, or at least the pay-per-view itself, I think probably may have been one of the best ones of all of them. Because he had the WWF Championship, The Undertaker defeated Bret Hart that year.
Mm-hmm.
Shawn Michaels eliminated one of his good friends, Diesel. You had Goldust defeating Razor Ramon, another good friend of Shawn Michaels. You had Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, even though he lost in his match.
That's when Triple H was still taking the shaft for the whole click thing.
Yep. But if you want to talk about just the actual match itself, the Raw match itself, I wouldn't say 1999 was one of the best ones. That didn't really have too many big names for wrestling, even though Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon were the top two people anyway that year anyway. Then you had Triple H, you had Kane.
Yeah, The Rock in 2000, which I still disagree. Which I'm looking at the stat sheet that pulled up. Let's see, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 guys in the Rumble's history have won from the under number 10 spot. And the rest of them have won from let's see, the lowest from number 10 would be the lowest the lowest over 10 would be Hacksaw Jim Duggan at 13. Of course, that was a televised event. And then let's see, we had 2 guys win at number 30, which would be Undertaker and Triple H. Or not Joel. Wait, I take that back. 30. Oh no, John Cena won at number 32 that next year. But Del Rio won a 30. I still think that was stupid to have a 40-man rumble.
This year?
No, in 2011. Remember when Del Rio won the whole thing?
Oh yeah. I think 40 is just a little too much for the Royal Rumble. That's just my
You don't have that
opinion.
many guys like on the roster to begin with, and then the spots you have to fill up are with surprise entrants, which really, if you're a smart mark like us, we know who's already going to be in.
True.
But now we got kind of our favorite Rumble. What would be the worst Rumble as far as just pure? I don't want to say pure competition. Just based on what you've seen, what would be the worst Rumble that you remember watching? The worst Rumble match.
Worst Rumble match?
Yeah.
I would have to say just last year.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Explain why.
Why? Well,
Yeah.
for one, like you have The Miz coming in. He didn't even wrestle at all. He never went into the wrestling ring. He just stayed and did commentary till it was near the end, and he gets eliminated anyway quickly. And of course, you have Triple H come in and win it just in the nick of time. He's one of the last people to come in. And you didn't really see any big eliminations happen by anyone. Not a lot of people got lots of people eliminated. I mean, you have Mark Henry in it, you have Brock Lesnar in it, you have Braun Strowman, the Big Show, and you also had Kane, you had Roman Reigns, you had AJ Styles, but I think overall, last year it just didn't seem to flow well storyline wise.
Especially have it be for the championship. That was. I can understand what they were trying to do and get the belt off Roman, but you could have had Triple H come in at number 30 and win the whole thing, and then get the belt at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't really like last year's Royal Rumble. I think that was I would say that was probably the worst one of all of them. It was just last year's Royal Rumble. I think this year's Royal Rumble, I think, is going to be a lot better. At least that's my opinion. But
I mean, at least with last year's Rumble, we got to see the debut of AJ Styles.
True, and the thing is, another reason why I thought it was weaker is a lot of those guys, they haven't been in the ring as long either. And I'd say since of last Royal Rumble to where they're at now, a lot of these guys have gotten better. Is Bray Wyatt still there? Dolph Ziggler's still there? Pretty sure, Sheamus and Cesaro, they're the tag team champions. I think the only wrestler a lot of people are not too big fans of right now is The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's the only. It is the only wrestler they're not really too big fond of right now. Is The Miz.
That show that entries 1 through 10 produce 7 winners, 11 through 20 only produce 4, and 21 to 30 produce 19. So it is. So according to these stats, it's better if you get the lower end and get 21 through 30, which gives you a better chance.
That is true, and it could happen, but like I said, depends on how the riders want it. And I think it's going to be interesting to see who could possibly win it. We don't know everyone that will be in the Royal Rumble yet. There are some names that people have already announced that they will be in the Royal Rumble. And Goldberg's one of them. Brock Lesnar, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Chris Jericho, Braun Strowman, and Baron Corbin have all announced that they'll be in it. And so far, I'm liking the list so far that will be in the Royal Rumble. And then you've also got Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship. Chris Jericho will be suspended above the the ring inside a shark cage.
God.
We've got AJ Styles versus John Cena and the Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. This is starting to look to be a pretty good Royal Rumble pay-per-view. But
Well, let's see. As far as stats go, let's see. Most total eliminations go to Kane and Shawn Michaels. Let's see. Note WWE sometimes does not acknowledge Kane's elimination from the '96 Royal Rumble as the Dr. Isaac Yankem character. Also, WWE only recognizes 39 of HBK's eliminations. Okay. Wonder why.
say that again.
Let's see. WWE sometimes does not acknowledge Kane's elimination from the '96 Royal Rumble as the Isaac Yankem character.
Oh yeah. Well, the reason they did that is because WWE, at least WWE corporate, they weren't. Obviously, his character didn't go big as Dr. Isaac Yankem. That's why they never really counted his eliminations as Dr. Isaac Yankem. Kane became a big money-making character, and since his character Kane became a big money-making character, that's why they are gonna at least have his character Kane. That's why those will be official, and the Dr. Isaac Yankem character will not, because Dr. Isaac Yankem didn't last that long. It's sort of like when The Rock, when he was rocking my view when he first started. His character's rocking my view didn't last that long. People were not big fans of Dwayne Johnson's character rocking my view. When he changed it to The Rock, or later on, as the business told him to change, or business helped him and he changed his name to The Rock, people became big fans of his. And then that's why he's lasted so long now in WWE. And same thing like with Stone Cold Steve Austin. First, it was being Stunning Steve Austin. I don't think a lot of people were big fans of his because they thought his character was a little too cartoonish early on. Once it changed to Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's when people go, yeah.
A couple more things here to note. Also, WWE only recognizes 39 of HBK's eliminations. I wonder who those other two were that aren't recognized. One's got to be CM Punk. And the other one's got to be Chris Benoit.
Might be, I don't know.
How much was I think of? Let's see. Let's see. Time. Let's see. Who holds the record? Oddly enough, let's see. 1 hour, 2 minutes. Let's see. Rey Mysterio holds the longest record for 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds. Whereas when Flair won it in '92.
Yep. Oh, who? Can you guess who holds the record for being eliminated the quickest?
Santino.
Yeah.
2 seconds. Let's see. Ric Flair. The longest. Let's see. When he won it, he went in for 59 minutes, 26 seconds. Oh, Vince had the longest in '99 with 50. Wow. Well, wait a minute. That really shouldn't count because he wasn't in the ring for like 5 minutes of it. I mean, he was still technically in the match, but he wasn't in the ring.
Well, they still technically consider the match. I guess that's why they count it as that.
I don't know. Let's see. The last year CM Punk was in the Rumble in 14. He actually set the longest time for 49 minutes and 15 seconds. I think they got a lot of great stats here. Let's see. As far as my worst Rumble, unanimously got to go 2011, just because you have too many guys, one ring, and
was that the year of the 40-man Royal Rumble?
Yeah, that was the year they tried the 40-man Rumble, and
that was too many people.
And too many surprises that, like we said, if you're like the smart fan, like we are, we just figured out who's going to be that surprise entrant. There really aren't really any surprise entrants.
I think this year will probably have more surprise entrants because most of the people that are going to be in it are going to be newer people this year.
Fair enough. I mean, Okay, here's something to talk about. Your favorite non-Royal Rumble match to take place at the Royal Rumble, like a match that you thought that was good, but wasn't the Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble.
I would have to say probably not non-Royal Rumble match. I think the Undertaker Bret Hart match was one of the good ones that I just talked about not that long ago. But I would have to look year through year. I would say probably the better ones were probably earlier on, like when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking right now at the 1988 Royal Rumble. Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude. That was a pretty. That was a great match anyway because it was won by disqualification, but that was the first year anyway. And really, the '89 one wasn't too good either. But I think I'd say probably I'd say the Undertaker Bret Hart match. I think it was in the '96 Royal Rumble. If I remember right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look if it's the '96. Yeah, I'm pretty sure '96 Royal Rumble. I think that was probably. You want to talk about at least the two best, or if you want to talk about non-Royal Rumble match, I'd say the Undertaker, the Paul Bearer defeating Bret Hart. Probably was one of the best matches anyway, even though that also ended up by disqualification.
From a storyline perspective, I want to go Sid HBK from '97.
Yeah, that was a good one also. If that did not go by disqualification, I'd say that probably made the one of the better ones.
No, that didn't go by DQ. Michaels won.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It did not go by disqualification.
Oh, okay. Here, sure. Say maybe the I Quit match for '99 also ranks up there. I mean,
yeah, that was a good one.
Okay. I don't think we can make our. No, we can actually do. I should make our prediction winners for Rumble right now if you want. I mean,
I wouldn't. Not all of the matches, or at least not all of the Royal Rumble has been announced yet. I would say.
No, I'm not for the actual match itself, not for the whole pay-per-view.
The whole pay-per-view?
No, not the whole pay-per-view, just the actual 30-man match itself.
Who do I think will win?
Yeah.
When it comes to all of 30 men?
Yeah.
Ooh. But that's what I'm saying. Not all 30 men have been announced yet. I would say let's wait till, because I wouldn't be able to say yet because not everyone's been announced yet. Because the majority hasn't even been announced yet. I'd say maybe when we get to at least 20 people, then I could probably predict probably who I think could win. But right now, I think only there's only been a handful that have announced that they would be part of the Royal Rumble match.
No, fair enough.
Only 9 people have announced so far that they'll be in the match. So I wouldn't say I can predict right now who's going to win it.
And one of them being Goldberg.
I think Goldberg will win it. Will be in there for a while. I think Goldberg and Brock Lesnar will both be eliminated later on.
It's going to be one of those where like Goldberg eliminates Lesnar and then Lesnar comes out, takes on Goldberg.
Well, let's see. Triple H won it last year. Who won it the year before?
Roman
Reigns won it the year before that.
And then the year before that was Batista.
That's why I think whoever is the biggest moneymaker in the Royal Rumble match itself probably will be the one that will win it. Because Roman Reigns beat eliminate Rusev in the 2015 Royal Rumble, 2016 Royal Rumble. Triple H eliminated him. So it's possible Triple H may come back into the ring, and then someone may eliminate Triple H to be the final victor.
But since it's in
And
Cincinnati, do you think we see Shawn Michaels at all during the event, even if it's just backstage?
I would say he probably will be there, but he'll be backstage. I don't think he'll be in the wrestling ring. I highly doubt Shawn Michaels will ever be back. It's possible he may come out of retirement for one time, possibly, but I highly doubt that he'll ever will face AJ Styles. I think Shawn Michaels is done with that. But when it comes to the actual Royal Rumble itself, I think what could possibly happen is Triple H may come back and be in it, since he was in it last year. He may come back
and screw Seth Rollins out of it.
I think it's possible he could get eliminated this year, because if you look at what happened last year, Triple H took out Roman Reigns, which the year before that was Roman Reigns and Rusev. Now Roman Reigns actually has a championship match, which he could
Be a double champion, which I really don't want to see. I want to see him lose the U.S. title on Monday.
I think he probably will lose it. If he loses it, then I think he'll be the Universal Champion. If he does not lose the United States title, then Kevin Owens will still be Universal
Let
Champion.
Jericho get that U.S. title.
I agree.
I mean, there's another guy who I think should have won the Royal Rumble in his prime, is Chris Jericho.
It could be Chris Jericho that could win the Royal Rumble, but I don't think it's going to be him.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like that. There's a guy who should have deserved to win it when like he was like in his prime in like the 2000s and stuff.
Yeah, but you also look at who the other people were at that time that were in it. You had Triple H, you had Undertaker, you had The Rock, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin, you had, and also later on you had Shawn Michaels coming back. And those are some 5 big names in the wrestling business.
Oh.
And then that's why Chris Jericho probably had a hard time get his name up there, because he had those 5 big guys, and when you've got those 5 big names there. That's why Chris Jericho, he was still one of the bigger names. He was originally a cruiserweight, but brought himself up there. But we've got big names of those 5 guys, and you've also got Kane, who never really won, or never had a long title reigns, and never won many. He's won many titles, but never had long title reigns.
Mm.
And he's never really won.
In 2010, where he won the World Heavyweight title, and then he had that World Heavyweight title until like December 2010 or something like that in November.
Say that again?
No, because when he won the World Heavyweight title in 2010, I think he had it until like end of 2010 when he lost it to Edge or something.
I think that may be right.
Yeah, because he won Money in the Bank and then he cashed in that night.
Yep. But right now, I couldn't say right now who's going to win the Royal Rumble this year. I'd say we could have to probably wait until we get at least 20 people. So I'm sure there will be some surprise. There may be some surprise people that may show up. Because I know they've had legends participate in the match, but they may not even do that this year. Because I know they've got quite a long list. And from what I've been hearing, and another thing is too that I think could happen is they could bring in some next stars into the Royal Rumble and eventually make them WWE, or at least get them started.
I mean, we could see Samoa Joe debut with the Rumble.
I could see that happening, actually. And to be honest, I'd rather see next stars be in the Royal Rumble this year than legends. So I think it's time to get some of these new people, or at least people that have been in next for a while, get them used to if they would be a WWE superstar at some point later on. I think it's time to get them.
Get like Joe Nakamura in there.
Yeah, I think it's possible to see those two because I just can't remember if Sami Zayn wasn't he in the Royal Rumble last year?
I don't remember. To be honest with you.
I'm gonna look at that because I could be wrong.
I think he was. No, I think he was because.
Yeah, Sami Zayn was in it.
So because he had that big thing going on with Kevin Owens.
Because because Kevin Owens wasn't, at least he wasn't champion yet, and they brought in some people from next. So I think what's going to happen this year is they're going to do the same thing that they did last year. They're going to bring in some more people from next into the Royal Rumble. But I mean, I could be wrong.
So with there being 30 spots, I mean, do we see under 5 or over 5 surprise entrants, whether they're from NXT or Legends?
I think it'll be within 5, but I think they'll come from next. Because at least from the way it's been looking like, at least seen from last year and what they're trying to do now, they're trying to bring new talent in. And they're bringing talent from all around the world into the WWE. So I think they're going to try to bring in people that have.
No.
I think they can try.
Finish yours for a minute.
I think what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to bring in people that are well known within next, or at least throughout the outside of WWE, and they can get them introduced and getting started on being on the big stage of WWE. And I think Nakamura could be one of them. I think Samoa Joe is another one that could possibly be brought in. And that's why I'm looking right now the roster for next of who could possibly, because I think there will be some next superstars that will be
another big
part of
the mind.
Royal Rumble.
Chris Hero, he's recently back. He could be more possible surprise entrant.
I think Bobby Roode could be one of them.
Oh yeah, glorious.
Because Bobby Roode is a fairly good friend of AJ Styles, maybe part of TNA. I could see him being in it. Eric Young, I could see him being in it.
And most people know like who these guys are. I mean, it's not like.
I think the guys that probably will be in it will be Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, and maybe Chris Hero. Which is really surprising that the former tag team member Bobby Roode, when he was in TNA, I'm just trying to remember what his name is.
What, James Storm?
Yeah, James Storm. I was surprised James Storm was in the WWE for a time bit, and then he just went back to TNA. He's going.
Wait, what? James Storm to WWE? I don't remember this.
Well, he was with Next anyway. He was in Next, and he went right back to TNA.
Okay, let me look this up real quick because this is interesting.
Yeah, I remember him being. He wasn't in the actual WWE, but he was in WWX. I do remember that.
Oh,
he was with them for a little bit, and then James Storm just went back to TNA, and they're going, okay.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair. I mean, the way TNA is going now, they're not going to survive another year.
That's why I think James Storm made a bad move to going back to TNA, because he was in WWE for a time, but I mean he wasn't obviously in the spotlight, but
I mean, would you rather go to a big company where you're not really known, or stay with like a small company, but your name's like household to them?
His name will always be a household name for TNA, but the thing is, at least from the history of him, doesn't really look like he had. They didn't really push him that much when it came to him making a big name, especially in TNA, because and I could be wrong, but TNA just seems like it's losing its glamour.
I think to close this episode out, we're gonna go through the first two names of the of the WWE Hall of Fame, and let's see, according to this, let's see another. Oh yeah, let's see. DDP is the first one, and just take a guess at who the second guy is.
Who could the second guy be that looks for WWE Hall of Fame that'll be entered in for this coming year? Well, I think I just see it now who it's probably going to be.
Yep, about time too.
I agree with Rick Rude, and to be honest, Diamond Dallas Page, I think they should definitely be in it. Absolutely.
I mean, Rick Rude's the dude who should have won the major strap at least once. But you got any final words before we close out tonight?
Probably my final words is just going to be an interesting Royal Rumble this year. I think this Royal Rumble could be a big moneymaker. It could be. So far, the names that are in it, I like the names. I think it could be a surprising Royal Rumble this year, but time will tell of how the storyline goes.
This is going to be interesting road to WrestleMania. Especially
I agree.
The projected card, or I would say projected, but more was predicted card that I've seen on dirt sheets and on YouTube. But but as we always say, anything's possible.
Yep.
You know what? I'll let you outro this week.
Well, this has been the Final Count with Jose Gonzalez and Grant Fujano. We'll hope to see you next time.